Why does anyone begin a journey? Some people will just set out into the unknown, just for fun and adventure. As cars became more affordable, people would drive for the pleasure, not really knowing where they would end up. But most people have a motive, an idea where they will be going, and why and what they will find when they reach their journey's end. Since the time of Jesus, many map makers have given us intricate and exciting pictures of where we could go, where we could explore. And today, we live in an era of sat-nav, where journeys are plotted out for us. The ability to journey is a remarkable feat of the human imagination, an ability to project into the future and aim for a vision of something which has not yet come to pass, a meeting, a holiday, a new place to live or work. Many journeys are anticipated with pleasure and excitement. Others are the forced result of natural disaster, war, or persecution. That ability to imagine a future is an important part of Christianity. Without it, we are stuck dealing with memories and what we see and experience around us now. But God calls us into our own future and to be prophetic about what the world could be and what it could look like. The Magi looked up and out and imagined that what they might find at the end of their journey would be worth the trouble and toil of those travels. But they didn't just decide on a whim. In Matthew's Gospel, they came to ask for he who has been born King of the Jews. They already have in their minds a hope and expectation. That is why some people think that the Magi were priests, because the Zoroastrian religion in Persia had a tradition that a Messiah would be born in Judea. So this tells us that God's mission involves not only the vision of a new future for human beings, but that vision is for all human beings, even those outside Christianity. Indeed, it may even be those outsiders who hear and respond to God's call most effectively. So the Magi began a journey, a spiritual journey, to find the person of their religious prophecy, a person born to be a king, a person who would change the world. In Advent, we too are on this journey. God continues to call us to set out to meet him in Jesus Christ. How will we prepare for and set out on this journey? An oracle concerning the animals of Negeb. Through a land of trouble and distress, of lioness and roaring lion, of viper and flying serpent, they carry their riches on the backs of donkeys, and their treasures on the humps of camels, to a people that cannot profit them. Go now, write it before them on a tablet, and inscribe it in a book, so that it may be for the time to come as a witness forever. In our churches and perhaps our homes, the journey of the Magi is often all too brief. Perhaps they travel from one side of the church to the other to join the figures at the crib. Or maybe they hide behind the stable for a little while. But it's hard to get across the sheer scale of the journey Matthew hints at. Christian traditions have tried to give us a sense of this vast undertaking. Matthew only tells us that the Magi came from the east, from the direction of the sun rising. One tradition has it that the Magi were scholars, and that their names were Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, and that they came from India, Persia, and Arabia. Imagine travelling to Jerusalem all the way from India. Christmas cards give us a very unrealistic picture of the journey of the Magi, as we see them happily swinging across a smooth sandy vista lit by starlight, where all is calm. Isaiah, however, gives us a much clearer picture of the hazards of travel. The Magi would almost certainly have had to use camels to cross the desert, and would have needed access to water. They would have had to carry and to find food, perhaps from traders on the desert routes or in towns and villages. Perhaps they were seasoned travellers, used to carrying articles for trade. But even if they were, the journey would likely have taken months, through uncertain weather and difficult terrain. So they must have been very determined and very driven. The journey was hard and dangerous, and anyone crossing such a distance must have been aware that it could cost them their lives. Yet Matthew says that they continued on their journey inspired by a star. We're all on a journey of sorts. Some of you watching today may be students on a journey to get a qualification and wondering whether you've made the right choice or is the journey worth it. Some of you may be staff asking yourself important questions about your role, about where your career is going. Or you may be neither, just someone looking to start a new journey or asking questions about the one you're on. As we journey through Advent towards the birth of Christ, perhaps we can find some of the determination and vision the Magi had. We can look to them for inspiration as they were inspired by the star. Or perhaps you already have a star that can help guide you. Yet we cannot sugarcoat what it might cost us to make the journey. And when it comes to our faith, what it might mean to find Christ, the journey in Advent, as in the journey of life, asks us the uncomfortable question: are we ready to meet God? As we light the second candle of Advent, the candle of peace, let us settle our minds and hearts and come to God in prayer. God of the sea and desert, you have made us travellers, explorers, wanderers and wanderers. You have made us restless till we rest in you. Walk with us in our journey this Advent, guarding and guiding us until we find the miracle you promised, the Son you sent us. Amen.